Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender. I just mentioned the weather was changing. Do you notice?
The weather's changing. It's been really comfortable the last couple of days.
Thank God.
Right?
Yep. Yes. I mean, the days of 112 to 120 degree heat index.
Yep.
Enough of that shit.
It was perfect
you can
timing.
get in your car and your ass doesn't
now it's comfortable.
stick in your seat.
It's been very comfortable.
Shit like that.
So there's been a nice breeze.
A little bit of a breeze.
It's a nice little bit of a boner, but there's
last,
been a nice breeze.
Last couple of mornings.
What'd you say?
So
a
tonight's
boner.
been a boner.
Wait, is that good or bad?
Stiff breeze.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Wait, the breeze is not
Well, it
breezy.
can
That's
be
like-
a bad thing if you get a boner when you just don't
no,
really
well, but
need it.
wait. Oh, because it's not windy?
Yeah, it's
So
kind
because
of,
it's
it's kind of still, you know.
okay. The weather's not so hot.
The weather's not so hot.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't know.
I think it's comfortable temperature, though. You just don't know.
You know, it is. It is. It would be even more comfortable if there was a little breeze. But we are here in this salad
It might
days,
be
I
more
think they
comfortable if
call
we
that.
had boners.
Well, give me a few minutes, honey, and I'll work on that.
I listened to a meditation. It was called "I Am Horny."
Oh, my gosh.
I'm horny.
No, it's
You sound like
affirmation.
Dory.
It was an affirmation. I am so horny. I have lots of something. I can do this and I can do that. And I go, wow, this is what works for people and stuff like that. I'm thinking, instead of using any.
Like, I am smart.
Yes.
I am courageous.
And
I think
gosh
that's what-
darn it, people like me.
And gosh,
Well,
that's right.
That's
right.
Stuart Smalley.
Stuart Smalley. And by golly, people like me. No, I believe that does. Think about it with people that are overconfident. That's exactly the record that's playing in their head. Remember that, the belle of the ball? I told you that story about the girl that was the belle of the ball? She was not the belle of the ball. She wasn't even the prettiest girl among the two 70-year-old ladies. And she was the girl who was 15, 16 years old. She wasn't the prettiest girl there.
But she thought she was.
Well, because they were telling her.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh my gosh, you're going to be the belle of the ball. And I go, wow. Well, I don't want to puncture someone's balloon or that thing, but that's pretty good. I think that's good. But think about it. Think about going through life with an overabounding confidence in your abilities. I met people like that.
Isn't that indicative, though, of a very insecure personality? Generally speaking.
Well, I think it's a balanced approach you should have. I think there's a very balanced approach. Because obviously, it's not like that fucking Holiday Inn commercial, Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah.
That you're going to go and do brain surgery and stuff like that. But you're willing to try new things and not be nervous of, as long as it's not, the outcome isn't critical, that you're able to do your best and not be nervous about your performance. That's the balancing part. But you're not going to be able to, obviously, may not necessarily true. Some people like Mozart and some prodigies can go and do things the first time. And it could be brilliant. But that's a specific type of ability that doesn't always show up. But I'm talking about I always had, whenever anything, when someone was we do training any place, and whether when I was in the Navy, when I was at Treasury, when I was in a software company, when someone asked for volunteers for something new, I would volunteer first. Now, why do you think I did that?
That's I know why I would do it and why I did. Because you get sedate in the role that you're in. You want something more challenging. You know, it's an opportunity to experience a different aspect.
Let's say it's in a display in front of a group of people. Why would I be exuberant? And I'll tell you, it wasn't because I thought I could do it. I'll tell you why.
Why?
It was strategic. I was the first one to do it. So if I failed, I didn't see anybody else do it yet. Right?
Yeah, you never remember the first one that did it.
The first one that did it, you go up there and you volunteer. Whenever they do it, when it was CPR training, the gunnery sergeant, we had gunnery sergeants in our boot, and they asked us to come up. I volunteer first, and he says, "You know how to do this?" And I don't know how to do it. He goes, "You tell sore shit. You don't know anything about this." Yeah, but how bad? I didn't see it happen yet. So failure wasn't. It was an option. Failure was an option, but it wasn't as bad as the 10th guy to try it.
Yeah.
The 10th guy. And that's the way I always viewed things when I, it's trying to say like this, you go show up at a party and people say, "Oh, look at that girl over there," and stuff like that. I say, "I'll go over there, and stuff like that, and I'll get shot down right away." I wasn't overly confident, but it made it appear as if I was overly confident. But they didn't know what was going on behind in my head. I was doing it, say it didn't matter if I wouldn't call it failure. I would call it a learning process. I learned something that didn't work at that time. Whatever it was. Whenever there was a first, we're going to do this week. Okay, who would like to do it first? I said, "I'll do it."
Get Jim to do it.
Get Jim. Jim will do it. Jim will try it first. I mean, it's a strategy. And I think it has worked well for me. Whenever there's something new and someone says, I won't necessarily be a tester of food. I wouldn't want to be like one of those guys for the king or queen, the food taster.
Yeah. Hey,
when that was
Billy Boom Botch needs a food taster. Hey.
I put lye in his
Jim
coffee.
ain't the guy for that.
No, put lye in his coffee. That's a line from the Pope of Greenwich Village. But this overconfidence where it comes in, I was gauging that. That it seems like I'm confident. I don't move smoothly. I don't have a short gait about me. But I'll pretend, and I'll tell people. I'll just pretend that they said, "Well, are you confident doing this?" Sometimes when I had to fill in as a speaker, they say, "Do you have anything to say?" And I said, "No, you give me 20 minutes. I'll think about it. Try it. Do you need it? Because if you don't need it, I wouldn't do it because I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'd be willing to try. And I want you to know I didn't have anything prepared." So it's like an impromptu, an emergency situation. Just think of it. How you react in an emergency situation. I walked into I was in Treasury. I walked into a room one time. A computer was smoking, and then a small fire started under the desk. So I went to the surge protector and I unplugged it. I went under the desk and unplugged it while everyone was standing around just staring at it. And I just went and looked for the cord and stuff like that. And I said, it looked like I was confident or something like that. I said, I just wanted to be able to do something. "Jim, can you do something?" I said, "Sure, here, unplug this and then spray it. Here's
some people process like that. Even in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, there's police officers that fall in those same categories.
Yeah.
You have those who, without question, rush towards the sound of gunfire. And then you have those that say, "Ooh, hold on a second. Maybe I should be looking for cover. Where did that come from? What are we dealing with? Is there one assailant, two assailants?" And yet you have those that say, "There's no time for questions. It's time for action, and come what may," and off they go. And you have, it's different personality types. I would say this.
I've been in situations where I did not make the right decision. I told you about the little the learning disabled boy in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Tried to get on the train tracks, and instead of going into the break of the trains, and because the train was stopped, I tried to open up the doors where I was working against electric motors and stuff like that. These other guys
walked around.
Just walked around the thing. So I'm not saying I make the right decision.
No, but your reaction to do something came probably immediately.
Well, there's sometimes, like, if I've been around where infrequently, just where gunshots were, it sounded like gunshots were fired. And there's certain times wherever you are where running forward is going into cover.
Can be.
Yeah, well, if you're in the open and you could be running away where the cover is further away or the cover's closer, do you know what I mean? There's the object.
Well, I would say this. In gunfire, movement is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no cover, you have your ability to move.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very hard to fire.
Sometimes to move it forward. If you're in the open, though,
moving is your friend. You have to move.
Yeah.
I mean, standing there wondering, what do I do? You're a still target. No, better to be a moving target.
How did we get on this subject?
I don't know. But didn't we say I didn't want to talk about guns no more?
We were talking about guns.
I just saw this funny thing.
Have
Have you ever seen pet
Oh,
shaming?
the temperature. We were talking about them. You should not shame a pet, and you should never yell at a pet, or you should never yank on them, or say, I just read this right before.
Okay, but
right
I'm
before
talking
you get
about
in.
pet shaming where, like, you know, like if your dog ate all of your slippers and then they
Hang a
post
sign
a
on 'em.
picture of the dog and they hang a sign on me. It's like, I ate all of mom's slippers,
Oh, that's-
but only the left ones, right? Like all this shit.
Oh, that's all right.
I found one where somebody was posting, there's a bunch of people posting fish shaming pictures of their fish. Right? So there's
can
like
they
this
do it?
one
Would they
is
put a
like a
picture on
little
it?
puffer fish and it goes, I sometimes eat my friends. It's hilarious. And then there's another one. He was like, I bully the other fish. It's an angelfish, by the way. It's a very beautiful striped angelfish. And another one that rips all the plants out of the bottom of the fish tank. So it was like, I rip all the plants out for fun, and this is why I can't have nice things.
Have an iguana meme?
I didn't see one. There's another one. There's another beta fish where it says, I eat my friends. Right? And then,
Well, how about with that,
this is just awesome.
there's a real, the one with the blonde woman yelling.
Okay,
And
yes.
the cat.
And then the cat.
It's
Okay,
just all over the
no,
place. I fucking stupid like me. I put one in. I did a meme with that. I
Oh.
created one, and she goes, I said a White Claw, and then the cat says a White Claw is the hard club soda, and the cat, I put over the cat and says, you can have a vodka and soda, which is the same fucking thing if you put a little lime in and stuff
Right.
like that. That's what I say. And,
Okay, I have the best
But
one
I
of
always
those.
thought that was, what's her name? Kate Hudson.
It's not.
It looked like Kate Hudson a little.
This
when
is
she-
one of the things from The Bachelorette where the guy.
No, that's right. Real Housewives.
Real Housewives? I thought it was I'm sorry, The Bachelor. The Bachelor.
I think it's Real
I
Housewives.
thought it was The Bachelor because this
I
lady
think
got
it's Real
mad
Housewives.
because he humped her. And then.
Real Housewives, I think. I think
Her
it's
or
someone.
the cat?
I think what happened.
Okay. Anyway, this
That
is the
blonde
best
one?
one I've ever gotten today.
What?
It's the same lady, the pointing mad lady, and the cat meme, right?
Yeah, what does it say? Gay porn. Gay porn.
Right. So, because the name of my little boat, the brand of that little boat back there, is
Yeah.
called a Cape Horn.
Yeah.
And when you say it 10 times fast, it's always going to sound like gay porn. Gay porn, gay porn, gay porn.
Oh, was this someone that I saw one today that said the roads are icy outside, and it goes slipper shit or chicken shit. It sounded like almost like chicken shit. There's a cat, a bored cat
This
looking
one
at
was
vegetables.
super funny today, especially because we just fixed the Cape
But that's
Horn.
real high. That's Real Housewives.
And then
Because
gay
her
porn.
husband passed away or something like that. I read. But it's weird. I mean, you could make your own up, but the problem is people don't know.
Did you see
now
the one
I
with
learned on
Hillary?
that Google thing. Do you know how to put text? I could put text on a photo. You can make your own.
Yeah, you can. But did you see the one with the cat and Hillary? Instead of the blonde lady pissed off with her pointing finger, it was
Yeah.
Hillary. And she just said, hello, kitty. And he goes, help me!
Hillary who? Hillary Swank?
Sure.
Oh, is this thing where she's not
It
in
was-
office,
it was-
but our prepresident, who's a criminal,
It was one of those-
where
it
they're
was-
still obsessing about a woman that's not in office,
was-
and the guy that's colluding with foreign powers and is going to have Turkey over here, and we're just going to ignore everything he's been doing.
But of course.
Yes, and Hillary, who's not in power, of course. Look at her. No, see, anytime anybody mentions Hillary, I'm going to have to mention like 10 things about this guy I don't
Is she
know.
running again? by the
No.
way?
No.
No?
See?
No. And I would say, I hope not.
So, yeah, this chicken shit guy who's head here shows up at the thing, and he never did anything brave in his life. Once, not once. Well, no, he did. He did one brave thing. He had unprotected sex with a porn star.
Who? Oh, Bill?
Donald Trump.
Oh,
you don't believe that?
Oh, I don't know anything about.
Well, he paid her.
I thought you were talking
a
about
couple $100,000.
Bill.
He paid her a lot of money for not having sex.
Well, he paid the one $140,000.
Yeah.
He paid another one slightly less.
Yeah.
And those are the two we know about.
Yeah. Oh, that's admitted.
And he's the anointed one.
He is the anointed one. No, evangelist.
I'm surprised
anyone who takes George Washington's medal, the Purple Heart, and says, "I've always wanted one of these," and puts it in his pocket, takes it from the hand of a veteran who was offering it to him for whatever reason.
I don't know why the fuck you would do that.
And he puts it in what he should have said was, you earned this. This is yours. I cannot take this in good faith. I always wanted one. Well,
no other president would have taken it. No other president.
Of course not.
No other president. This guy is just this chicken hawk guy.
He's a mob boss.
Yeah, and they make all this, and someone's talking about Benghazi and said, how many fucking Americans have been killed since this guy's been president because of his bullshit stuff? How many Ukrainians have been killed because he's withholding?
How many Kurds?
How many Kurds? Yeah, our allies.
Did you see that Mike Tyson posted, though, and said that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself?
You think Trump had, you mean Trump had him killed? Because Trump was friends with him, too.
Yeah.
Hillary.
Nope.
That's what they were saying?
Trump and...
Epstein was pretty eclectic. He had friends all over.
He had friends all over. Trump was his friend, too. So the only thing that's a
right now
that's a pointing fingers in a thing. But we got real things. We got real people in our government. They're going to be testifying tomorrow.
Yeah,
they're going to testify tomorrow. It's going to be open testimony. They were begging for it, and then they said shit about Vindman, the decorated Iraqi war veteran, saying, "Oh well, he's a spy. He's a spy."
Jim, you're an American until you disagree with
the president. Yes, that's right.
Then you're no longer.
Then you got to point at Pizzagate
and
all that
scum.
Stuff. Make up stuff.
You know what? It's a little sickening to have this much derision being applied to fellow citizens in trying to break up.
Oh, Bill Taylor, the guy that's testifying, one of the guys testifying, he's a Vietnam War veteran. The war this guy avoided, and he says they're disloyal, and they're pointing out the whistleblower as the whistleblower is the well. No, they're not this. They're not saying that it's a lie now. They're not saying it's a lie now. They're trying to go, it's not illegal. Or they're saying the process is wrong. But they're not saying, and they're saying the transcript, but they have a copy of the recording. They have the recording of the phone call.
One of the witnesses
listened to the
entire call.
Yeah.
And we'll hear that testimony.
Yep. We'll hear that
So it'll go wherever it goes.
About the whistleblower?
No, about the crime about the quid pro quo with
bribery.
The Ukrainian.
It's classified as bribery.
Yeah, using. Yeah.
I have a funny one though. I have a customer that came in the other day, and you always have to have their email address, just for contact information. Mm-hmm. And their email address was squidproquo at Gmail.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Squid. Yeah.
Squid program.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be people that are going to still believe this guy, though, right?
Well, it's like religion, isn't it? You can prove it 9 ways to Sunday that this couldn't happen, but nope. You're challenging. You're challenging my group.
There's an evangelical preacher, this woman, who says when she's walking on the White House lawn, she believes she's walking on hollow ground. Because Trump's there.
He is the chosen one.
The chosen
He's come
one.
out and said it
This
himself.
The most anti-Christian person I ever met, if there's such a thing. If there's such a thing, who doesn't believe one iota, which is kind of funny that they do. He's the one. He never goes to church.
Smart enough to know where his base
He never
is at,
goes
though.
to church. He'll it's just every other president in the last 20 years went to church. Even pretended, even if you say they weren't, okay, he doesn't even pretend to go to church.
No.
He does not pretend to go to church. He has no idea. I mean, whether, I know you don't believe it, but he pretends to believe it. He pretends to believe it so they believe him. The people that believe in the voodoo witch doctor stuff, that we're the chosen people, and this is the guy we're going to choose, the overweight guy with the bad comb over that gets people to lie about his physical fitness.
But he believes in the same
the guy
things
that's my
they
weight.
believe
The
in.
guy that's my weight.
But he supports
Same
and believes
religion.
the same things they do. He hates the same people they hate.
Yeah.
As it was recently told to
the
me. by
guy
my
that's the
brother.
same height and weight as I am. Purportedly. You know that?
Yeah. And that doctor has since come out and said Trump wrote that letter, not the doctor.
But that's the first one. The admiral, the one.
Yeah, no pressure there, right?
Yeah. The admiral wrote that one. So we're going to take a little break now. We're going to get away from politics on this one, but don't mention someone that's not in office right now when there's someone in office that should be in jail. The guy shouldn't even be in office.
Sleazy.
Yes.
All right, new topic when we come back.
Yes.
If you want to get your information about the Florida Keys straight from the locals who live here and the ones who love it here, we've got you covered. Visit 43keys.com as your source for everything Florida Keys. Sign up for our newsletter and you'll always be up to date on all the Keysy stuff that's going on down here. Go to 43keys.com. That's the number 4, the number 3, keys.com, and sign up today.
Should we talk about my recent
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn, the name of my little boat?
Yeah.
Well, the brand.
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn.
Say it. Cape Horn, Cape Horn, Cape Horn, Cape Horn, Cape Horn, Cape Horn, Cape Horn,
Cape Horn?
It sounds like Cape Horn.
Right. So, of course, my boss sends me the meme earlier today. And, of course, I was trying to find the meme all by myself. So, just, word to the wise, don't ever go into your Google search and type in Cape Horn gay porn meme.
Oh, if you put gay porn in, it's just going to
And that's what happened is I just
porn.
got massive amounts of websites popped up with gay porn. So I was like, well, XXX, that's not what I was looking for. But it was funny. And we laughed.
Well,
at like
we're going to
8:15
talk
in the
about
morning.
if
Cookies.
you're at work. Well, years ago, 19 years ago, when you got on you're working on a computer, and the internet was this wondrous, magical, Neverland place where you could
The
get
dial-up America Online.
No, we were at work. At work, you had you had the DSL lines and all that stuff coming up, and they were faster. And if you weren't careful, all of a sudden, if you hit the wrong link, you could get something that says, "I'm looking at porn." It's
Do you remember when
I'm looking
you
at
used
porn.
to
It just
only
like,
use the phone line, and if you only had one phone line going into your
Yeah,
house,
you
you
can-
could only be on the interwebs? Or, if somebody picked up the phone or called you and it would kick you offline, you'd be like, stop calling me.
no, but the people didn't really
Dial up.
understand.
Dial up.
You first started using it, you had dial up, and you could bring up.
Yep, and then
What kind of things could you bring up? You bring up like text, screen, some chat room.
I was going to say, wasn't chat rooms really
Chat rooms.
the biggest
Because,
thing right away, right?
well,
You
chat
were.
rooms, because text didn't use up that much thing. But once pictures, if you had to download, you're trying to get a picture, holy shit. With that, like in 2000.
I remember my old
2001,
keyboard that had like
You had to wait
springs
forever.
You had to wait
underneath
forever.
like every single thing. My old keyboard would be like dunk, 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 like every time you hit one of them. Cause it was
So porn was, then when you were looking at porn, any type of porn, regular porn, straight porn, and all that, you're looking at it, it's slow, getting off your computer, getting your computer just to turn on would take forever. And then sometimes trying to get out of it, it seemed manually long. Luckily, I wasn't that adept, so I wasn't able to explore all the nuances of porn and things that were out there. Nowadays, if you want to go to these sites, they pop up, The videos are smooth, streaming, great video quality. I'm just assuming because I'm talking about. I'm assuming, yeah,
right,
because
yeah.
YouTube and all those type of videos, any type coming up. But there's always before you knew about history a little, but it was no big deal because you had the whole address line, and people really didn't look at that much because it wasn't that detailed. Like on a Google search or a Safari search, it wouldn't show you a list of names. It just should show you a list of addresses. Remember that about 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Be a list of addresses, and you have to see what the address was. But now, when you do a
like
search,
the World Wide Web address, the www.
Yeah.
They give you the web name, not the web address.
Yeah, it would give you the name of the search now.
Yeah.
The search, and that's like the gay porn.
Did you ever do the Penn Island one?
What's Penn
Island?
Penis Land.
Yes, Penis Damon's over there with his smirky grin. We've actually gotten a couple of our employees on that one.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
With his previous
I'm gonna post that on this
shipping receiving person.
I'm gonna post some pictures.
He had her go to PennIsland.com.
That could be mean though, wouldn't it?
And then we pretended like the big bosses were calling, wondering why she was on porn sites, and scared the crap out of her.
But if I put vacation pictures, I'm going to give it. I'll put some beautiful. Whenever we go to one of the keys, I'll take some nice pictures and activity pictures and just say. And if you're a listener, if you're a long-term listener, you won't be taken in for it. But watch out for Penn Island.
Watch out for Penn Island, and they got the current receptionist with that one as well.
Oh God!
So they had her look up Penn Island.
I'm going to make it as enticing as possible. And then what shows up when you put Penis Island?
I'm not quite sure.
There's Lemonade Party.
There's
Lemonade Party?
2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh, well, that's
And there's kids in the sand.
that 2 girls, 1 cup.
Wait.
That's 30 years.
What's Lemonade Party?
Yeah, it's a.
Old dudes peeing on each other.
It's a bunch of old dudes peeing on each other. That's great. What movie?
Shit
am I
on?
thinking?
With a dildo inside of his peehole.
What?
Yeah.
Inside his peehole?
Oh,
Wait a
the
second.
listeners can't hear what Tyler just said.
Wait, let me.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean the dildo's going inside his urethra?
And that's what was
How's
that
that
one called?
possible?
One is
Kids
How's
in
that
the
possible?
Sandbox. Why? How does that have
How's that
anything to do with the
possible?
sandbox?
You can put a dildo right up someone's penis?
I don't know how that
How
would
do you stretch that out? Wouldn't that rip
Maybe,
it
you
up?
know what? Maybe that's why that lady was returning that one that I saw earlier today.
I'm at a loss for words. Come on, Joe. You gotta chime in on this one.
What are we talking about?
We're
Explain that.
Papa was distracted. Yeah,
Okay,
Papi
explain.
Caliente was distracted.
Tyler, tell him what you told me.
when I was in
Tyler is saying back
high school,
when I was in middle school, high school, these weird websites that you would pick up.
so Kids in the Sandbox was one of them.
So Kids in the Sandbox was one of them that everybody talks about.
Which was to get your friends to look at these god-awful...
Right. So to get your friends to look at these god-awful, horrible videos, and one of them,
Kids in the Sandbox was a guy,
fully hard,
dildo, and going in...
taking a dildo into his own urethra.
That's called sounding.
Let's go.
Oh, whoa. How's that possible?
I don't know how it's possible, but when you're
All
dealing
right,
with
Damon just snorted from the
when you're
back,
dealing
and
with
I'm
fetishes-
dying laughing right now.
So
It's a thing.
you must start enlarging it.
no, they take these metal rods and they go down the pee hole of your.
Oh, metal rods. Oh, it's not like a dildo.
No, Tyler is saying that they work it up
Yeah,
to the
it's,
point where they
listen,
Can it work
stretch
up to the size of a dildo?
People do weird shit. You know, they
It's like the original
barnyard animals and
metal vibrator dart.
the original woman's metal vibrator dart. So maybe like an inch in diameter, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just
so amazing.
repeating
I
what
figured
Tyler is
out.
saying
Listen,
since he's
man.
not
I didn't know
on
that was
people
that
do
audio right now.
weird shit.
Oh, no,
But
no.
there's a word for it.
See,
There's a term.
You know,
once again, I think my incredulity is not that someone would do it. My incredulity is that you can expand the urethra that wide. Now, see, you're reading me the wrong way.
No.
I understand completely that someone would be turned on by that. Not that I would be turned on that.
Right.
But I understand that completely.
There is a fucked up medical/mental condition that has a lot to do with people shoving things in their urethra. And the only reason I really know about that is because of Dr. Mass. And Dr. Mass, I'm not saying what his real name is, but Dr. Mass is a customer of mine. Mm-hmm. And he is a ER doctor in downtown Chicago.
Wow.
And every time he comes in, he would have like a crazy different story to tell me.
Can we get him on like one of those?
We
voice
totally
changers?
could. He's the one that brings me the beef jerky all the time, and there's some in the fridge, by the way. Yeah.
Jerky.
But Dr. Mass was telling me that there was a man that would come in about every 6 to 8 months, and every single time he came into the ER, it's because he had something different shoved up his urethra. Right? And it was many, many things over and over again over all these years.
Well, he didn't like put a string on it or anything?
No. Like literally this guy would shove weird things into his urethra, like a Q-tip that got wedged all the way in, and he had to go through like a non-invasive surgery.
Wait a second. That makes sense that someone can, there's certain things like someone says, the dildo thing, the one that said, that kind of reminded me of someone saying that you can't get, there's the physical impossibility of getting that thing in there. I realize it's probably stretchable, but I think at a certain point it would break apart.
Well, you would think so, but if over time
maybe
they're stretching
they
it.
said skin could stretch pretty good.
Now, think about, remember when we had the butthole conversation and we looked online about all the different things people shoved up their butthole?
Oh yeah, that's not weird.
But very similar.
I mean, I've seen stuff that came out of my butt, so I know.
Very similar.
I know it gets really huge. I mean,
Right.
Like
remember the
elephant or a
Matchbox
human?
car? We saw the Matchbox car.
Matchbox car's not big.
Right, but okay, light bulb, an entire fucking light bulb.
Well, the light bulb,
up your
the
asshole,
thing that intrigues me at the light bulb is
that it didn't break.
Yes.
Right.
And that you would put something that could
shatter up your asshole.
I mean, that's,
right?
hey, you know what? It's people don't understand. My incredulity is not the act. It's the, well, in this case, it is the act with the light bulb.
Yeah.
Because the shards of glass, I don't want to put it in my mouth. I'm not saying a thing, even if it's sanitized, not to put it in my mouth because I think it's overtly sexual. I just think, what if it fucking breaks?
Right.
I got all that fucking glass in my mouth.
Okay.
I mean,
but
are you fucking
let's get
kidding me?
back
Or
to
anything weird up your nose? Where they have, every so often someone sticks something up their nose. They have like crayons. You ever see that thing?
Yeah, or like
they
a
have
quarter.
outlines of the x-rays of a kid, some guy who's 40 years old and has a crayon that's been jammed up his nose for 30 years.
Yeah, and it's just been there the whole time. Yeah, that's great. But, so listen, right, about this urethra thing, right? So Dr. Mass was saying that this guy, who's obviously he's mentally ill, he keeps coming in over and over again. And most of the time, the things that he shoves up there, they can get out, right? So they stretch the opening of his urethra and they can go in and extract out whatever he shoved into his penis shaft, basically, right? This last one, okay, was a roll of solder. A roll of solder. You know, like a soldering gun, like soldering, like metal, right?
Up. It's like a roll, like a...
Right. The entire thing. Because it's very pliable, very, like, easily to maneuver metal. And he shoved an entire roll of solder, kept feeding it all the way through his urethra. And he had what looked like a rat's nest in his bladder. So, even though
so the pee
they could have tried to go through with a catheter style like apparatus and pull it out piece by piece to get the entire roll of solder out of his bladder, they decided this time that they were going to make it painful for him. Because every single referral they ever gave him to talk to mental health, he discounted. He never went. He never went to follow-ups. He never went to anything to go help himself. So this time, when they removed the entire roll of solder, they picked up his scrotum and cut his fucking gooch. And they went up that way through his bladder to get the whole thing out, to cause him such a massive amount of pain to prevent him from doing it again. And he hasn't seen him in 4 years.
And all
You know
wanted
what's
to
so-
do
Even though this person was a
try and-
repeat offender.
You know,
Six months, 8
you know
months,
what's so
over and
funny
over.
about that thing? You went and said that sounds like really painful, and it was a great story. That is an A+ story. That's an A+ story. I was not like, ugh, like that. I'm saying, fuck you, guy, man. You keep on doing that shit. Yeah, you deserve it. Like, at that point, I was like, I was thinking, oh, these people are violating their Hippocratic oath.
Exactly.
First, do no harm. But maybe
They may have saved them.
They did it
on purpose. So I go like
Because-
this, and they go, oh, okay,
No,
that kind of
mind
makes
you,
sense.
it was optional. It was one of the optional
Yeah, I know it was
procedures in place for something like this.
And
But
the
it
guy
was
was
most-
just trying to take. He was trying to stop a leak.
Yeah. Well, no, he was just like, he's just
I need
weirdly
to
obsessed.
solder
What if-
my pee-pee.
Right. He
What
was
if
just,
they heated it up?
oh, yeah, right. That would have, see, now that would have been horrible. That would have been torture. That would have been ridiculous.
That's
but
like
what
a
they did was they
Caligula
chose
kind of thing to do.
They chose
Yeah, yeah. Oh, right.
they
Oh,
chose
shocking.
the option of causing him a little bit more recovery time and pain in the same thing, right? Instead of it being a 2.5, 3 hour procedure and letting
Yeah.
all these other patients that are in the hospital that need help, right? They chose to quickly get it out and cause him a little bit more, more
You
pain
know,
and cause
that leads me to believe sometimes that there's people in the healthcare vocation that are there to help.
Yeah.
And there's some people that become doctors that aren't so helpful, like Dr. Mengele.
Yeah,
You know Dr.
Yes,
Mengele?
of course I know Mengele. Oh my God.
Okay, Mengele. Meaning that they go
As a
into-
mother of twins, I hate him truly to a core, by the
I
way.
know we used to do tests on twins
I
and all
know.
certain sorts of things, and I mean they, especially the German. He became a doctor in Germany,
What?
and when he became a doctor in Germany, they had very stringent. They were, I mean, originally when he became a doctor, I'm imagining that he became a doctor before the Nazis were ensconced in all the public institutions and stuff like that.
Yes, but what they
So-
did is they gave him the freedom
no,
to
no, but he had to
explore.
go through med school during when they were into the Hippocratic Oath. The Germans were very at one time were very ethical, philosophical leaders in thought and science, and then some of these doctors. I'm not saying all doctors. I love doctors. Doctors are great. They're healers and things like that. But some of them seem to have a propensity. They don't have as good a bedside manner as others, and some are even worse, meaning they don't necessarily care about the harm they do.
Right. But in this particular
And it's
situation, I
usually
thought
an
it was
extreme.
remarkable.
It's a rarity.
Because that guy, he was a repeat offender. 6 months, 8
Oh,
months.
no,
every time
we went
and
over it.
He stopped.
No, I agree with you in that case.
Like,
I'm
it
just
was
saying there are
cool.
people out there, there are doctors out there, and we're not that show, True Crime Show. There's, HBO did, some great documentaries. There was a doctor who was, a gynecologist, I think it was, accused of raping his patients all the time. All the time. Multiple patients. And they could never get him. They could never get him on DNA. Never get him on DNA. They're always taking blood samples and stuff like that. Couldn't get him. The guy was out and out doing it almost every year he was accused of it. You know what they found out? They found out one of the guys that took his blood, and they realized the blood they were taking, they said the blood didn't look right. It didn't look the right color. And he did a little a close look, and they realized he had a vial implanted under his skin. Different blood. It was kind of a small
Yeah.
tube in there, and he was giving him false samples. And they found the guy. I mean, a fucking brilliant guy. Think about that. Use that brilliance and that kind of thing to surgically implant a blood sample in there and it had to be brown or something. And these people are looking at it and saying, well, the phlebotomist that's taking it says,
Right.
this blood does not look healthy or the right color.
Well,
and then they did the search and they found out. And that was a doctor.
You know what they do now too is that they actually test even for urine, for example. My husband's a captain; he's on consortium, right? So you have to submit to any random urine test, and then when you first get like your captain's license, especially here, you have to go in and submit a sample and pass that before you can actually be a U.S. Coast Guard like accredited captain. So they actually test for more than what we just think. They test for color. They test for temperature.
Of course.
And I never would have thought of that. Like, just because, I mean, obviously I'm not in the medical industry, so I didn't think, but there was,
well, we did have to get the urine right then.
No, you know what happens?
What?
Is that there are certain people that they get called in for a random piss test, and they stop on their way there, and they get someone to piss in a cup for them.
Yeah.
And they try to smuggle it in, and they put it on the heater of their car. And they heat it up. They keep it warm. They keep it warm. They keep it warm.
Why do you get
until
it
they
in?
there. When you go in, they can't watch you piss. They can just make sure that you're the only one in the room.
Well, how
Right?
hard would it be to get kind of a prosthetic put over your
Right, but
put over your
so for
penis
example,
and have a little pump?
a specific
right?
person that
Has to be
we
the right
know
temperature.
of,
Well, I know, but it's up
Right.
against your body, right?
a specific person that we know of that was put through a random drug test as a captain,
Yeah.
failed the temperature test.
Was it too high?
Too high.
Too hot.
Too hot.
Yes, they
So
have
here's Tyler.
what is called a fake penis,
Hot.
which you would put on and it keeps your body temperature.
Yeah.
You also have the old school trick of a plastic bag with somebody else's pee and you tape it up underneath your nuts, or an
Yeah.
Advil bottle and tape it underneath
To
your
squeeze
nuts,
it,
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. But to refer back to Jenna, on your basic hometown testing place, no, you are not allowed to have somebody in there to watch you unless you are a repeat offender and have been asked by PO or anything like that. And then, yes, they can stand in there and watch you. They can't obviously look directly down there, but they can watch your hand movement to make sure you're not pulling something out or ripping open a bag or anything. And
I believe they can frisk you before you go
Yes.
in. Yes.
and then the temperature thing, everyone always thinks after you take your piss test, they put the label on the outside. They think that label is an indication of, all right, is there anything? Well,
The
no, that's
label's
on the
the temperature sensor?
outside on the bottle, so it's a temperature sensor. And once you have entered their facility and have said, hey, I am here to take a urine test, you are not allowed to leave unless you give a full sample. If you go in
How much is a full sample?
an inch and a half,
Oh, I got that 7
but
times. that.
sometimes,
Oh, I thought you meant size. Okay.
yeah. But if you cannot,
But a boop.
That's
you
10 and a half
have,
inches.
you have to stay there. If you leave because you can't pee or you have to go back to work, you are forfeiting your license at that point.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways,
So well, you can.
So wait,
expose
you got
yourself
a
little bit
you
about,
got
like,
fake
you pee more
penises you can go.
comfortably.
Wait, they sell those fake penises with the thing.
Yeah.
Now Tyler experienced this directly because, and not to expose you, but he's more comfortable peeing sitting down, right?
My bladder, I think I have issues with, especially after my motorcycle accident.
I was going to say that you don't have to say that on the air.
Well, but
No,
but this
but
is
it's
how
true. It's
we
like
know.
personally.
because that was a big episode on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
But-
when Larry David mentioned that,
If
everyone said, "Why stand where you can
Well,
sit?"
hey, when you wake up at 2:00 in the morning and you have to pee, what are you doing? You're gonna pee sitting down. You ain't gonna try and stand there in the dark. And...
Oh no, they got a proximity light.
No, I don't.
Oh, it's great.
I know.
It goes
David
inside there.
and Joe have
It's
one.
it's a proximity light.
Yeah,
They have the
Papa.
toilet bowl light.
Yeah,
Papa has a
you
toilet
can
bowl
do.
light.
They're awesome. I mean, you know what? At night, you're right. Hey, I'm not judging. I did know, but it's
But-
funny that you volunteered it.
But what
I
I'm
like
getting
that.
at is I went in, I had drank 2 bottles of water and a Mountain Dew on the way down there. I
Yeah.
got in there, my bladder felt like I had to pee. I tried to pee. I could only produce like maybe a half an inch, and that wasn't enough. So they're like, all right, well, you got to sit here and drink water until you can. And I was like, well, I got to go to work. They're like, you can't leave.
Can they give you a beer or anything like that?
No.
Oh, can't have beer.
So after about 10 little tiny cups, because you can't have more than they prescribe, because then now your bladder and everything, you're actually weakening what might be in your system.
You might dilute beyond the point of them being able to detect.
Oh, okay.
So the only way I was able to actually get enough urine because of my bladder and the pressure and everything, I had to sit down. And I finally was able to produce enough and was luckily able to go back to work.
Yeah, I'm up for random pee tests in my job. And
they suck.
Yeah, listen, it's routine. You go in, they give you the vial with the temperature strip on the side, the heat activated temperature strip. You walk in the room, they close the door. You got to put all your stuff in a bin.
Yep.
And you piss in the thing, and as soon as you're done, they don't want you washing your hands. Leave
the cup on a table.
And where I go, the toilets don't flush.
Nope.
So there's nowhere, if you carried a piece of plastic, there's nowhere to put anything.
They put blue fairy dust in the toilet bowl also.
Yeah. So you come out, you give them the pee
What's
thing.
the blue fairy dust?
It's a activation chemical, I think.
Yeah.
That if you try to use bleach, because the old thing was you dip your fingers in bleach and you kind of pee through your fingers, and it helps that. It shows up if you've used an alternative chemical to
a
dilute.
masking agent. So they test for masking agents.
Mm-hmm. You know what? At sometimes at work, I put bleach in water and stuff like that. I would. You know what's funny? At one of these times in my life, I'm totally clean my urine because of the shit, because of that vaping stuff. I used to like the marijuana vape, but all that crap in it now, you don't know what's suspended in. I said, screw it. I'll wait until we get a little more enlightened. It's a shame that you guys, they don't just take it off of the scheduled drugs.
Well, it's part of the job.
He wouldn't be able to use, nor could I anyway.
No, they take it, if they take off the federal schedule.
Nope. Can't use it.
If it becomes 100% legal, I could walk down the street and smoke a joint kind of legal.
Yeah.
I cannot, and neither can Papa, ever do that.
It's because the job regulations we have prohibit the use.
Oh, I know, but that would, if
those.
they take it off the thing, obviously they would change.
No.
Not necessarily.
Why do they remove it for alcohol then?
Because
alcohol is much more abused.
Now, here's the thing: is I could drink all night long.
Yeah.
And I can get on my job the next day and drive a boat, but as long as I don't blow over a .02, then I have leniency. Doesn't matter about the .08 or any of that.
You don't think they'd change that?
Nope, not at all.
No, there is hope on the horizon, so to speak. You ready?
What?
They came out with a qualitative marijuana test, and they're refining this test for law enforcement on the road. Because right now, the only test you have is to piss in the cup, and if it tests positive, you're guilty of DUI. But there's no way to tell how much marijuana is dissolved in the urine. So someone has just come out, and I think it was MIT that came out with it. They have to refine it, but they're well on their way now. If that comes out...
Oh, is that that's the reason why
yes,
they wouldn't allow it, because there's no way of testing.
A positive result means you're under that you have it. Okay,
you know what? I didn't even think
so
of it.
let's say it comes off schedule. Let's say it's no different than alcohol. And let's say the policies where I and Tyler work at.
They should definitely.
They should. There's no mandate. They have to.
No, but they should definitely have a test that put it on par with alcohol. So
I agree.
The percentage.
See, when you blow into the breathalyzer, it bings when there's the presence of alcohol, but it also quantifies it. It tells you what percentage is in the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. You can't make the DUI without that. So you shouldn't really be making a DUI for marijuana without that same amount of knowledge, right? And then on the other side of that is, pharmacologically, what constitutes under the influence with marijuana and at what level?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any agreement on that.
what THC level constitutes
I
being under
didn't
the
realize.
influence.
I thought the ban was more of the illegality of the usage of it, not being able to test for the presence of it because someone's ability to be able. I forgot about that.
No, you're.
I didn't think that way.
If it just comes up, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it is an illegal and you shouldn't have
because
it.
because it's illegal.
Right.
No, but the other part is you can't test for someone being under the influence.
Correct.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing. The reason why to keep it up there, right? Did I see it?
Yeah, you
Because obviously, if it was like alcohol, where you could test right away, say, well, 0.02, whatever the level they say is where you're inhibited your performance, and say you can't be at this level. Then
when
yes, make complete
when
sense.
those P tests come back in law enforcement, the only thing it shows is presence of marijuana.
Yeah.
Not even the labs
Can say how much.
can say how much.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, if I'm sure you can chemically break it down, and someone can say how many.
Someone threw
how many parts. But you know how expensive that.
Someone
would be.
threw some marijuana in some a mixed green salad, and the guy took.
You're going to come up positive.
Oh man.
Well, and the other thing is, like, I
know
have
what?
a bunch of friends.
Forget I even mentioned that.
I have a bunch of friends that ask
believe
me
I said that.
that if it becomes legal, would I be able to do it? And, well, that's what we were talking about. And I even told them, I was like, well, if it became legal, would you like your pilot to be smoking? I mean,
No. What I mean is,
it's
what I mean is, like drinking, you could test for the
Yeah,
presence
no,
of
I
alcohol in
understand
your
that.
system.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing they don't know. I've never even been through the thought process of what stipulates impaired.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get up to that yet because I was thinking, oh well, of course they're not going to smoke right before they go. Oh, they go, oh wait, of course they can't test for it.
Yeah. And then the other thing is if it becomes legal and you have your medical card, you cannot have it concealed. It's one or the other.
Oh, so you can't be a captain and you can't kill somebody.
I can be a captain, I can have my concealed, but
I'm just kidding.
If I get my medical
just
card,
joking.
I can't have my concealed. I could probably
No. I
become
mean, you could be a captain and have
Probably.
your medical marijuana license.
I mean, that's the legalities that they have to work out, and that's what we were talking about.
No, they can't do that.
You know,
There would probably be a
They can't
problem
do
with
that.
that.
Yeah, they have to have a problem with that.
So-
No, I'm saying the funny that you brought the concealed. I go, I can understand why they conceal because it's illegal right now. But with obviously, if you're thinking about being able to test for it, I didn't even process that you can't process how much the person, when they smoked right before, they could have smoked a whole joint right before they got on the plane. Yeah, it makes total sense that they can't do it until they do it. And you know what? I believe that if the power of the industry is any testament, they will come out with the money. They will come out with the money to make a test to say, listen, we want people to be able to use it and use it responsibly and not use it right before they go into work and things like that.
Well, the push to have a quantitative test for marijuana comes from the fact that it's decriminalized in the States.
Yeah.
And these MIT people, they're not stupid. I mean, think of how much stuff the technical colleges have produced.
Yeah.
In this case, MIT, this gaggle of student scientists, right?
Why do you call them gaggle?
It's a gaggle. It's a group.
Goose. Geese?
A geese. Maybe they are.
Gooses.
Maybe they squawk
Why
a
not
lot.
a murder?
It's
or
a group.
pod?
A group.
Okay.
Anticipating that the federal government takes it off schedule.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mother is going to need this machine or the technology to make those machines, and they're theoretically sitting on a gold mine.
Oh, no, I think it's great.
So
idea.
it's coming. There's no doubt. It's coming.
I know. Well, I just think it's all of a play for bigger companies to be able to control it because they haven't. The reason why they can't is because you can grow it right out of that. You can take that artificial plant out of that pot right over there.
Stop telling everybody that my orchid is fake. God.
They can take that artificial plant, put soil in it. We get it. You get a male and female plant next to each other and make their own thing.
Yeah.
No, poppy seeds
poppy seeds
tested
not for
positive for
marijuana.
cocaine.
It's for opium.
Opiate.
What was the one Einstein Bagel in Miami had an issue with?
It's
It's
for
a false positive.
Yeah,
for
false
opiates.
positive. Yep.
Elaine Bennis.
Most of the
Probably
new tests, by the way, have solved that problem.
Yeah. Yeah?
Wasn't
Yep.
that? Yeah. That
There's
was
thresholds.
the
They had the wrong threshold.
Well, I hear people are injected poppy seeds into their urethra and their penis.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
they
On
might
that
be.
note, we're going to end it. It's 55 minutes.
Ow!
Ow.
Well, after all that shit they shoved up
Yeah,
their
but
penis,
poppy seeds are like kidney stones, for Christ's
Right,
sake.
why would you
Jesus.
put a kidney stone back in there? Ooh, let's just shove that thing back up the
people
hole it
were
came out
shoving
of.
light bulbs up their a-holes.
Got any rocks?
Did
no
you
big
ever
deal.
actually see a kidney stone under a microscope?
Yeah, it looks like an asteroid.
It does.
It does, a kidney stone.
Yeah,
I don't
sharp
think a poppy
edges.
seed's
Ouch,
like
ouch,
an
ouch.
asteroid, is it?
I don't know.
think so.
It's
I think
round. Poppy
it is
seeds are round.
If you put them
I'm
up
sure
your
that
ass,
would be much
if you
more
put them up your
comfortable.
ass, they might look like an asteroid.
That was what was that, Family Vacation? He says, you got asteroids? No, but my dad does. It's a hard time pooping. Okay, this is Jim the Keys bartender. I'd like to thank Papa Joe and Jenna. Kelly, come on, say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
Oh, my God, almost 2 hours today. Goodbye.